Hello and welcome to the Zodiac Trial. Now before we even get started, I gotta say this soundtrack is amazing. And from then on, we'll get started with the game. A few words before that, the Zodiac Trial is, as far as I know, a visual novel that has some mystery puzzle elements as well. There's some mini games, I think, within it. And I just really like the sound and the look of it. It looks a bit like an... Well, I don't mean this as insulting. It looks a bit like an indie game in the sense that you can see the drawings and everything like that wasn't necessarily made by professionals. Again, I'm not trying to sound harsh or anything, but I hope that everything else makes up for it. It's not bad. It's just I probably shouldn't talk more about this. Let's go. Do you believe in destiny? Huh? Where did that come from? Just humor me. Do you believe in destiny? I guess that depends on what you mean. Perhaps I should ask in a less obtuse way. Do you believe that your future is fated, bound to happen no matter what? Of course not. The only one in charge of my life is me and me alone. Well, I for one disagree. The belief that we have any control over what will happen is simply the arrogance of humans. I suppose you would call me a predeterminist. I'm not familiar with the term. Basically, it's the belief that since everything in the past already exists and everything in the world moves on a cause and effect basis, everything in the future has to happen. The world's deck is shuffled, as it were, and all that's left is to deal out the cards, one by one. Any semblance of free will that we have, well, it's more of a coping mechanism than anything else. Your genes and history were decided without your input, and like it or not, those two factors really make the decisions. Damn, that's a bleak way of looking at things. I actually think it is a good thing. Whether or not I'm in control of myself doesn't really matter to me. I'd easily trade that away for the benefits predetermination provides. Benefits? Another question. Have you ever heard of Laplace's demon? Actually, seeing as you hadn't even heard of predestination, I suppose the answer is rather obvious. Laplace's demon is a hypothetical created by Pierre-Simon Laplace in 1814. This demon of his is quite a clever creature. It knows the precise location and momentum of every single atom in the whole wide universe. As if that wasn't enough, the demon's so clever that based on the information it has, it can predict where those atoms were and where they'll go. If this demon really existed, it could accurately recount every single historic event regardless of location or time period. And, if it existed, it could predict every single thing that was yet to come with 100% accuracy. I'm not seeing these benefits you were talking about. Well, obviously this example is extreme, but in a more controlled setting, geniuses can function much like Laplace's demon. Through careful analysis of the past, of cause and effect, probable futures can be gleaned. Think. Humans are no more than fleshy wind-up toys. Think. Peer into the coding, the innermost mechanics, the clockwork within their minds. Think. Become a demon. Play with toys. Control the future. Damn, my head aches. It's like I can hear a blaring noise just ringing and ringing and ringing. Make it stop. Shut it up. This noise, it's so real. It is real. Opening my eyes, I find that I can actually see again. Moving my legs, I find that I can actually spread them apart again. The pain in my muscles as I start to stretch out is just a reminder that I'm no longer tied up, no longer blinded and gagged. The ringing stops, seemingly done its purpose of waking me up. I can see, and yet my vision is still obscured. What's that feeling on my face? In an instant I realize that I'm wearing a mask. What the hell? Quickly I start trying to pull it off. As I struggled with it, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to remove it, but after a strong yank, that fear subsided. What on earth is this? Is this a mouse mask? It was made of cheap plastics, something you'd find in the bargain bin of a costume shop. There was no hole for your mouth or ears or anything, just 2 small ones you can see through in its big cartoonish eyes, and one in its neck so you can put it over your head. But wait, why was I struggling to yank it off? Have you seen how those things get produced? Have you ever worn one before? It's no surprise you couldn't take it off easily. It was attached to something on my neck. Something's on my neck. The next thing I noticed was the cold metallic heavy necklace that must have been wrapped around my neck. Again, my hands rushed to try to yank it off, but this time it was to no avail. I couldn't get a good look at it, but something metallic and heavy was strapped to my neck. After the shock of these rapid-fire discoveries and the drowsiness of waking up from my sleep had both worn off, I decided to actually take a look around at my surroundings. I appeared to be in a high school classroom. One that's very blurry. Have you tried putting your glasses on? A science classroom, if I had to guess. What on earth was I doing here? Before I could start thinking about it too much, I realized there was another person in the room with me, awkwardly getting to his feet. Ah! Whoa. Who the hell are you? What on earth are you doing here? How the hell should I know? Because you clearly brought me here. What? No, I didn't. Oh, really? Well, that's just what someone who did bring me here would say. I have no idea what we're talking about right now. Don't play games with me. I wake up with a mask over my head in a random classroom and you expect me to believe that the guy already in the room with me has nothing to do with it? I just woke up here too. In fact, I also woke up with a mask on my head. Look! Showed what looked to be the mask of an ox. It looked to be much in the style of mine. Oh, Zodiac's, I get it, yes. Taking a few breaths to calm myself, I thought through the situation and realized I was being a little quick in judgment to start making accusations. Oh, were you now? I see. So, you really don't have any idea what's going on right now? None. Judging by the circumstances, I can only guess that currently we're in the same boat. Let me guess, you were randomly assaulted and kidnapped as well? Yeah, hurt like hell too. Last night, I was returning back to my apartment. It was late at night and I was going up the steps when, before I knew what was going on, I felt a massive shock to my back and my muscles started spasming out of control. In what felt like an instant, a blindfold was around my eyes and a gag was around my mouth. I just started to recover from what I assumed was a taser when my hands were tied around my back. From there, as much as I struggled, I was really just along for the ride. I was dragged for a bit, then I assume I was put in a car or a truck or something. I was on the move for a while, then I wasn't. I was dragged a bit further. It's hard to tell. I was already tired and the shock took a lot out of me. It's crazy to believe given the circumstances, but after a while I fell asleep. It had been hours of nothing, anyways. I figured if my kidnapper wanted me awake, they'd wake me up. I guess they did. Damn it. Who's the bastard who did all this to me? What gives them the right? Hey, calm down. I get the outrage, but these are the sort of situations where losing your temper can be deadly. For now, let's just try to figure out what is going on calmly. Yeah, you're right. I've got to focus. Breathe in, breathe out. There, that's better. Sorry about all of that. I really wasn't acting like myself for a moment there. Totally understandable. Frankly, it's impressive that you managed to calm down at all. It's a good thing you were here to calm me down, otherwise I probably wouldn't have. So, first things first, we should make introductions, right? Hold on. Huh? Considering the circumstances, giving out names might not be the best idea. Huh? Why? Well, think about it. We know nothing about each other. We know nothing about where we are, and we know nothing about why we're here. That didn't answer my question. Look, I'm not saying I'm certain it's a bad idea or anything. I'm just saying that there's a chance that we're being monitored or something, and saying our names could backfire somehow. What does that matter? If we're being monitored, it's probably by the people who kidnapped us. And in that case, they should already know our names. Probably, but is there any reason to even risk it? I don't see the use in exchanging names. The use is so we can actually call each other by name instead of just saying, hey, you. Well, if that's the problem, let's just make up some surnames in the meantime. Say, based on these masks we woke up in. Fine, so I guess I'll call you Ox. Sure, and I'll call you Rat. Veto. What? I don't want to be called rat. Why not? Why not? Because rat is an insult, that's why not. Would you want me, would you want to be called rat? Fair point, I suppose. Mouse then. I guess that'll have to do. Not what I would have gone with though. So, Ox, what's our plan of attack here? What's the protocol? I'm not sure if there is a protocol for this sort of situation, but I think trying to figure out what's even going on would be a good starting point. Let's analyze the situation. To talk about. Why were we taken? I can't imagine we were kidnapped for no good reason. Do you have anyone who hates you? Any reason to suspect you'd be targeted like this? Was there any good reason that I'd be kidnapped? As much as I'd love to say, I was the sort of adventurous girl... Wait, girl? To have made a dozen criminal enemies in my past, I couldn't think of a single thing even resembling a motive for my kidnapping. I don't know any secrets. I don't have any rich or powerful relatives, at least not to my knowledge. I haven't done anything that would leave someone cursing my name. Again, at least not to my knowledge. I was just a student almost out of law school. I was aiming to work as a defense attorney. Now if I actually had become a defense attorney, well then there might have been some motivation somewhere. But why target a student? No, there were no leads to be found down this line of thinking. Is it a girl? I mean, it looks very masculine. That doesn't mean it can't be a girl, obviously, but... Alright. I still won't change my voice. I can't do a female voice as the main character, sorry. That's just not gonna happen unless, well, you know what I mean. If it's clearly a girl, yes. Sorry, but I can't really think of anyone who'd have it out for me. Unless we're putting disgruntled law students on the suspect list. And we're not. Then, yeah, I'm fresh out of ideas. What about you? You make any dangerous enemies? Unfortunately, yes. At this point I've probably made dozens and none stand out to me, so I can't really use that as a metric to pin anything down. Dozens? Yes, well, it comes with the occupation. What? What's with the look? Ox? Are you a mob boss? What? No. How on earth did you get that sort of impression of me? Well, how else would you make so many dangerous enemies at your age? You know what? Forget it. This is pointless to talk about. Even if we could pin down which one would have it in for me, it doesn't explain why they'd also capture you. Unless, do you happen to know me? Now that he mentioned it, he did look very vaguely familiar. But I couldn't place it well enough to say anything for certain. Sorry, but I've got nothing. If there's some connection between us, I can't find it. In that case, it's best to assume that the abductions were semi-arbitrary. Are there any immediate dangers? I'm not sure about that, although if I had to say something, this brings me some concern. He gestured to his neck, which I now noticed boasted an incredibly dangerous-looking metal contraption. Whoa, what the hell is that? I don't know, but whatever it is, it's around your neck as well. Presumably, I can't actually see what's around mine. It is? Oh crap, you're probably right. Seriously, what the hell is that? Well, it seems to connect to the bottoms of our masks, for one. See, there are these magnetic straps attached, which seem to line up with these parts. He tapped on my neck brace. So, what? These are just to help us wear masks? Seems excessive. I wouldn't be surprised if that was their only purpose. They're gonna explode and blow our necks off. There's a variety of other uses they might have. For instance, they might have microphones or speakers installed. There's probably some sort of tracking device embedded which gives away our location, and a little bit of TNT. And if I were to wager a bet, there's probably some way of remotely killing us with these. There we go. Remotely killing us? I started struggling with the necklace, seeing if I could pull it off. Hey, calm down. I don't think whoever put those on would be so kind as to let them be pulled off by force like that. Calm down? You know, for someone who claims to be in the same position as me, you sure seem pretty chill about the possibility of your own death. Obviously, death is the worst case scenario, but that has no bearing on how I should act right now. Death is never the worst case scenario. Just putting that out there. Really, I'm just being logical.
How's this for logic? My neck plus death device equals not a good time. That equation add up for you?
Look, if they really wanted to kill us or kidnap us, could have done it at any time. So even if they can't kill us, we should be safe for now.
Not the most reassuring reasoning there.
We're not in the most reassuring of situations. Where are we? This appears to be a school classroom of some sorts. Thank you very much, Mr. Obvious. Probably a science classroom of some sort, judging by the diagrams and textbooks lined up over there.
I got that much genius, I'm asking what the hell that means.
Not sure. Taking us to a school certainly is an odd choice. And shouldn't there be kids here? It should be Tuesday, right? And I can't imagine this is an abandoned school, what with how well kept together the whole place is.
What are you talking about? It's Thanksgiving break, of course there wouldn't be any kids here.
Thanksgiving? Oh right, yes, completely slipped my mind that.
I know, Thanksgiving is no Christmas, but what sort of life are you living where you don't even remember it?
I remember Thanksgiving just fine, it just wasn't at the top of my mind right now. More to the point, I guess this means we're just in some school during the holiday. Which brings us back to the question of why the perpetrator would choose this sort of location.
Maybe because they are a member of staff at the school and have access to it freely, and while there are holidays going about, they have no danger of actually being discovered playing their weird game. Just a thought.
Judging from the height, we've got to be on the 3rd floor, is it? So we're not even close to the school's entrance.
Oh, try opening the window.
Why?
Just do it, I want to jump out of it.
Fine.
He tried to lift open the window, but the frame just wasn't budging.
Looks like it should be able to open, but it's going nowhere. I guess it was glued shut or something.
Damn it. I was hoping we could climb on out of this mess.
If you wanted to get out of here, you do realize the door over there is wide open, right?
Oh, please. You and I both know that if we walk out that door, there's no way things will be easy.
Well, then just jump through the window. Regardless of it being open or not, it's still a possibility as long as it's just glass. It might not end well for you, but who cares?
Do you think if you banged on the window and waved out, someone would notice us?
There doesn't seem to be anyone around in this area. And even if there were, I doubt they'd notice us.
What are those on the table?
I don't know. They appear to be tablets of some sort, but I don't know if they're related to our situation.
Seriously? You think these are normally found in a classroom?
I mean, in some schools I wouldn't be surprised. Schools are modernizing with the times. Who's to say they wouldn't employ tablets to help with their lesson plans?
But look, there's a mouse and an ox symbol drawn on them. Okay, that is suspicious, I'll give you that.
Well, that's certainly more compelling evidence.
I grabbed one and tried to turn it on, but there was no response. Huh? It's not turning on. Maybe it needs batteries?
I would think it's been modified in some way and will only light up when necessary. Perhaps the kidnappers will use this to contact us.
Are you sure? Wouldn't it be fine to let us turn it on to the home screen and then text us messages or pictures or whatever? I feel like hacking the tablet itself was unnecessary.
Functionally, I'm sure there could have been a workaround. Perhaps this was done for aesthetic purposes.
Seems like a lot of work just to make it look cooler.
I think we're getting off topic here. Much of this debate is grounded in speculation anyways. What do we actually want to do with them?
I'm not sure. For now at least, I'll hold on to the one with the mouse on the back of it, and you can hold on to the one with the ox on the back of it. Sound fair?
Fine, that makes sense to me. Well, I don't know about you, but I've just about had it with standing around, acting as armchair detectives when we can just walk out the door. Who knows, maybe it'll be simple and we can just leave.
If only. Still, you're right, that doesn't seem to be much useful in here. Let's get going. We prepared to leave the room, but before we could leave, an augmented, warped, demonic voice started speaking over the speakers.
Good morning, rat. Good morning, ox. How was your sleep?
Who is this?
A message from the kidnappers, no doubt. I hope you got some rest. You'll need it for the upcoming race. Be prepared for the jury to face judgment.
The hell?
I suggest you listen to what I have to say very carefully. Failure to comply with what I tell you will result in an immediate disqualification, and trust me, that outcome would leave no one satisfied. Now then, you should both promptly proceed to the starting line. In this case, that would be the cafeteria on the first floor. Right outside this room should be a staircase which will take you to the first floor, and from there, it's a simple right turn to get there. Before you leave, make sure each of you grabs the tablet with your respective animal printed on it. Take good care of these, they will be critically important. That is all for now. Once again, do come quickly. The Jade Emperor eagerly awaits your arrival.
And with that, the speakers cut off, leaving us just standing there processing what we had just heard. What on earth was that?
Not actually sure.
Starting line? Upcoming race? Jade Emperor? Seriously, what is this lunatic even talking about? It sounds as if we were on a really dumb reality TV show.
That would be unlikely. Still, this is certainly outside my expectations. It appears that whoever captures us intends on indulging in some childish fantasy where they are this Jade Emperor and we are his toys.
What a clown. I guess there's no real reason to fear them, though.
I wouldn't be so sure. That one line, "be prepared for the jury to face judgment," concerns me. Though it was difficult to tell with his voice alterer, it seemed like he said that with an uncomfortable amount of seriousness. It would be unwise to write this all off as just some dumb joke.
Speaking of, why bother with that voice alterer? It was really annoying. It was hard to even make out what they were saying.
I wonder if that message was pre-recorded or if that voice filter can be applied to live audio.
Hey, don't you think that the voice filter is actually a big hint?
What do you mean?
I mean, why bother with this thing if you don't know our perpetrator? Since they're taking the time to hide their voice, they've got to be someone who we would recognize.
Well, I see your argument, but technically they don't necessarily have to be someone you would recognize, but what if you escape? What if you get out and then have to, you sort of contact the police, they bring in the perpetrator as the suspect, and you get to recognize their voice. There you go. Not necessarily. It might just be a precaution, in case the perpetrators later...
God damn it, I already told that.
The voice filter prevents us from positively identifying them.
I guess that makes sense. At this point, I very much relate more to ox than to mouse, in case you didn't notice that yet. But at the very least, it means that they don't plan on killing us, right?
True, it would be a rather illogical precaution if they were surely executing us. Though that does not guarantee our safety.
Are you always like this?
Sorry, I'm just trying to help. Let's move on to what he said about heading to the starting line.
Doesn't sound like we have much of a choice in the matter, huh?
Not necessarily. We could try boycotting the orders and not go there. It might force the kidnapper to tip their hand.
Oh, you mean pissing off the scary voice who just threatened us? Great plan.
Come on, Mouse, he's just laying out our options. Or we could look around the school first instead of just heading straight to the cafeteria.
Wandering around a creepy abandoned building while still managing to piss off the scary voice? An even better idea.
Look, I'm just throwing around some ideas.
You're fumbling around with some concepts at best.
Okay, you're probably right. As much as I hate to admit it, at the moment we don't have much of a choice. For now, at least, we should shut up, do what the voice tells us, and pay close attention to everything that it says.
Agreed.
Then if we're in agreement, why don't we start making our way down?
Let's. With that, we grabbed our stuff and exited the room. Some part of me froze up the moment I set foot into the hallway, like I just entered some hostile dimension. But no, it was just a normal school. Nothing to worry about. Like the voice said, there were stairs right by the classroom we had been in. We made our way down and soon we were on the first floor. With a bit more wandering, we made our way to the cafeteria. As we got closer, I started to hear voices. It seemed as though we weren't the only ones in the building. The cafeteria ended up being pretty spacious. It made sense that the voice, trademark, would choose this to be the gathering area. I also couldn't help but notice a large TV bolted onto the center wall. Judging by the surrounding aesthetics, it didn't seem to have initially been there. More importantly, there were 4 other people already in the room, each of whom had a metal necklace just like ours. The man and woman arguing at the other side of the room caught my eye, but before I knew it, we were approached by the other 2 people present.
Hey, great to see more faces.
Hell yeah, it's great. For a minute there, I was worried that those 2 were going to be the only other ones here. Well, that goes double for us. Seriously, if we were left wandering around this creepy school by ourselves any longer, I think I would have gone crazy.
Is my company really that bad? Anyways, you 2 don't happen to know why we're here or what's going to happen, do you?
I'm afraid to say we don't know any more than you do. I mean, I'm guessing. You were both attacked, tied up, and brought here without any knowledge of your surroundings, right?
Yep.
And let me guess, the 2 of you woke up in some classroom with animal masks on? You freaked out when you realized you couldn't remove these colors, then some creepy voice came on the speakers and gave you a bunch of instructions. Pretty much. Then yeah, you know just about as much as we do. Hopefully we'll be getting some answers here soon, huh? Yeah, I hope so too. Anyways, it's not the best of circumstances, but it's a pleasure to meet you 2.
Indeed. I'm called Ox, and you can call her Mouse.
Ox? Mouse? We're using the animal masks we woke up in as codenames, just as a general precaution. Oh, that sounds fun. I want to join in on that. But we've already told each other our names. Yeah, but we haven't told anyone else. So then you can call me Tiger. This here is Bunny.
Sure, why not?
I'm Bunny, I guess, and I hope to work with everyone to try to figure out what's happening. I hope to as well. I mean, we need to. This whole thing is crazy, right? What on earth is with this person calling themselves the Jade Emperor and rigging up a school like this? Yeah, it's pretty exciting, right? What? I mean, the whole kidnapping business? That was real lame. Who assaults someone from behind with a taser? How am I supposed to fight back like that? But putting that aside, it's really an incredible opportunity we've been presented with. Waking up with an animal mask, grabbing weird tablets, listening to a mysterious challenger, meeting with a bunch of interesting characters. This has to count as a once-in-a-lifetime experience, right?
Yeah, this probably qualifies as that, but...
Exactly. We're in uncharted territory. I'm gonna face this with all I've got.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a lucky thing that we got kidnapped when you really think about it.
Are you serious? How can you look at this with such an optimistic spin? We've been kidnapped by a mysterious stranger, and now we've got these dangerous collars strapped to our necks, which do God knows what. This is horrifying.
You know, I was just thinking that. It's kind of like a horror story, real horrible.
Don't be such a downer. I mean, sure, this might be a bit out of your comfort zone, but that's no reason to dismiss it from the start. Who knows, this could be a lot of fun.
Fun? You consider felonies fun?
I think we can all agree that this will certainly be a memorable experience. Frankly, the situation is making me incredulous. I truly can't believe it. But we should bottle our strong emotions for now and focus on what really matters, right? Yeah, you're right.
That makes sense, Bunny.
What's worth a look?
Nothing, just... Do I know you 2?
Do you? You might know me, maybe. Tiger, your thoughts? I don't think so. But then again, I don't get the greatest memory, so who's to say?
Probably mistaken then. It was just sort of a gut feeling, and I tried to dismiss those.
Anyways, I'm glad you 2 seem nice. I was worried we'd get more Debbie Downers like those 2. She gestured to the other 2 people in the cafe. Even after all this time, they had made no effort to come and join our conversation.
You're not the friendliest with them?
Not exactly. Between you and me, I would hesitate before thinking about trusting them. Oh, but don't tell them I said that, of course. Neither Bunny nor Tiger seemed to have a good impression of the strangers. But considering the situation, this wasn't a time where I could afford to be picky with who I hung out with. If it's all the same to you, I think I'm going to head over there and say hi.
Agreed. I think exchanging words at this point would be wise.
I'll tag along then. Who knows, I might have just gotten off on the wrong foot. Well, you 3 go ahead with that. I'm fine right here. With Tiger vocally abstaining from the meeting, the rest of us headed over to talk with the odd pair. Despite our approach, their argument didn't seem to calm down. I know a pussy like you might not get it, but there's a lot more at stake here. It's a little something called pride, you feel me? I ain't letting no necklace stop me from doing what I want to do, when I want to do it. Believe me, I'm perfectly aware of various irrational factors that may be influencing your decision making. Even adding that to my calculations, disobeying the voice at this stage is not the wise move. Do I look like I give a shit about the wise move? No, you certainly don't. Now the fuck's that supposed to mean? Look, by all means, do what you wish. I believe you might serve as a very educational example for the rest of us, so a large part of me hopes that you disobey the established rules. However, due to us waking up in the same classroom, I have a very real and disturbing fear that the two of us might be considered partners or some such by our captor. Considering that possibility would be awfully disadvantageous to me if my partner were dead before the games begin, even if it wouldn't make much of a difference. You want to try saying that again? In fact, I'm telling you to say that again to my face. I find repeating myself a bore, but if you insist... Hey, easy there. Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to introduce ourselves. Great, there's more of you. Now who are you two? Well, I'm Mouse and this right here is Ox. Ox? Mouse? The hell kind of names are those? Ah. You two are taking up the mantles of the animal masks you woke up in, yes? Quite the reasonable move. In that case, you may call me Snake. And this right here is Dragon. That's not my name. Feel free to introduce yourself however you want. I just thought Mouse's naming suggestion appropriate. Well, I'm not a fan of playing pretend, but Dragon does sound like the coolest animal here, so I guess I'll go with it.
Snake, I'm sorry to have interrupted our conversation, but just a little early you mentioned before the games begin. Would you mind elaborating a bit more on that point?
Ah, yes. That would raise some eyebrows. To be clear, I'm not privy to any information you are not. That was simply a presumption of mine.
Presumption?
It would be a rather tedious process to detail every step of my thought process, especially considering the theory will be soon confirmed or denied. Put it simply, everything I've seen so far suggests that we're going to be tasked with some sort of challenge involving the whole school, with our lives hanging in the balance.
Wait, our lives?
Again, only my presumption. I have quite the imagination, so perhaps I'm overselling the stakes.
That's a sensible theory to have. I was thinking something along those lines, though it's still far too early to call.
Indeed it is. I accept that I could be entirely off the mark. Whatever the case might be, it seems as if we're unfortunately dealing with amateurish work. For one, take the abductions, attacking us, tying us up, and then just waiting for us to fall asleep. What a brutish method. Were our assailants to do their job properly, surely they could have arranged some sort of soporific to effortlessly knock each of us out. True, getting the proper drug dosage for each of us as to not kill would have been some work, but if they were going through the trouble of stalking us, getting a hold of our medical records, surely couldn't have been too great a task. The masks as well scream of a cheap production. They get these at the dollar store? Truly, it couldn't have been too much trouble to bother getting some masks of higher quality, seeing as these are likely to be a focal point of whatever's to come. Wow, that's a real eye for detail you have there.
And a real passive attitude towards our abduction.
Oh no, don't get me mistaken. I'm nothing like Miss... Tiger, that is. I find this whole thing incredibly aggravating and insulting, not to mention frightening. However, it's one thing to abduct me beautifully, another altogether to do so in an ugly fashion.
Beautifully?
Look at it like this. Even if you dislike poetry, surely you'd rather read good poetry than bad if forced.
I don't think those two situations are comparable. I do think they are comparable, and I agree.
Forget it with this clown. He'll talk and talk and talk with a bunch of fancy speak and logic and whatever, but he won't do shit. As opposed to you who wishes to blatantly ignore simple rules. Hell yeah, I want to ignore them. I don't get why you all are kowtowing to some bitch too afraid to even show their face. I'm not dying to someone like that.
Though, someone like that was able to knock you out, right?
Well, at least I actually got a hit in on the asshole, unlike everyone else.
You got a hit in?
Before we could further discuss that, I heard a commotion coming from the other side of the room. It appeared that 2 more had made their way to the starting line. Tiger was already greeting them, but I wanted to talk to everyone I could. I'm going to talk to the new visitors. You do that. I want to talk with these 3 some more. I made my way over to the new guests, whose difference in build slightly startled me. Judging by their facial expressions, they were both unamused with Tiger, who was likely getting to the part where she explains why being abducted was actually a good thing. So we still don't know what's going on? Not yet, but I'm sure we'll learn soon.
I guess that's that then.
What's what? Oh, Mouse. Great timing, I was just explaining the situation to Horse and Sheep here. Hi, good to see more faces.
How so? Seems like a downside to me.
Don't be like that.
Fine. It's good to meet you, Mouse. I'm Horse. If you need anything, ask me and I'll help if I can.
And I'm Sheep. It's a real relief to see that we weren't the only ones here. Not that I'm ungrateful for you being here, Horse, not at all. You've been really nice. Just, with more people it feels less like I'm being targeted for something, more like I'm just part of a group,
Like a sheep?
I totally get how you feel. It was a relief for me as well. If I was all alone, I probably would be in tears right now. But with a group like this, I'm sure that no matter what happens, we'll be able to band together and get through this. Yeah, now you're talking, Mouse. That's the spirit you ought to have. What do you say, Horse?
Seems unlikely.
Huh?
Banding together seems unlikely.
Why?
Just a hunch.
Are you basing that hunch on anything?
Past experience.
Past experience? What? Have you been in a dangerous situation like this before?
Sort of.
I hoped Horse would elaborate some on that point, but he didn't seem like he was in a chatty mood. There was an awkward silence, but luckily it was interrupted by 2 new faces walking in, one of which I recognized.
More people! Fabulous! It was real dreary with just the 2 of us, no offense.
None taken. I too am grateful for the presence of others. A journey alone would have been trying.
Ha! You wouldn't have been alone. I would have been here.
You have me there. Hi, hey, is that... Mouse. You can call me Mouse. We're using the animal masks we received as code names just in case.
Stage names, huh? Well, I'm used to that sort of thing. Count me on board. I'm Rooster, and this right here is my lovely assistant, Monkey.
While assistant may be one of my many roles in life, it's certainly not what I'd like to define myself as. But yes, my mask was a monkey, so you can call me as such.
So, why are you all here? I'm sad to say, but I don't recognize a one of you.
Recognize? It's a bummer, but we're here. Why we're here is still a mystery to all of us. Why? Do you know why you're here?
It's astoundingly obvious, at least to an intellect like mine. At first I thought I was being held for ransom. Some opportunistic scoundrel was leveraging my life to get a few measly Ks, nay, miss. But as I thought about it some more, I made the genius deduction that if that was the case, there'd be no reason to let me wander around this school, giving me the opportunity to make a stellar escape. With that first possibility off of the table, then the only option left is that some rabid fangirl captured me in order to make me act in some perverted fantasy. Understandable. So if you all are also here, then you must also be famouses that are being forced to play along. But you're saying none of you are well known?
No.
Drats. Then it appears I was a bit off the mark with that theory.
If you thought this was about capturing famous people, then what did you think Monkey was doing here?
I thought the villain had brought her to give me a love interest. At the time, I too thought it a strange casting choice, but maybe they just had a thing for Asian chicks.
As you can see, this has been a troubling time for us both. Oh, does this mean that you're famous, Rooster?
Naturally.
Really? That's so cool. Are you really? I don't recognize you.
Huh. I guess you just don't watch enough movies. Anyone who did would recognize me as an up-and-coming movie star, one of the hottest names in the film world.
That's odd. I love watching movies and I don't recognize your face at all. Me neither.
Oh? Huh, I guess I haven't exactly been made as mainstream as I thought. At any rate, I can assure you I'm very well respected in certain circles. Definitely famous enough that crazy fans are a real problem.
Well, I think we can safely rule that out as a motive for now. Monkey, it looked like you recognized Mouse, is that right? Yeah, Monkey here is actually my therapist. It was a real shock to see you here. You use a therapist? What, did something really messed up happen in your past or something?
Unnecessary. You don't need some tragic event in your life for a therapist to be useful.
Excellently said, Horse. More and more, we're learning that every human has struggles in their life. Though some may appear greater than others from the outside, we can't know how everyone handles them. What we can know is that everyone deserves to be at peace, living a happy life. Finding a stable mental state is an essential step for many in that process. I don't know. It's one thing if something super tragic happened, but otherwise it just sounds like you're not approaching life with a good enough attitude.
Ooh. Excuse me?
Peace, peace. It is quite understandable a mindset. Society has many broad misconceptions about mental health, reinforced by a history spent dismissing what is natural as weak. I commend you, Tiger, for being able to maintain such a positive outlook in life. I agree that for someone like you, I doubt therapy would be of much use.
Nope. I doubt therapy would be of any use to her.
Obviously, why would it?
Though the reason for that is not a good one.
As this conversation continued, I noticed that 2 more people had entered the cafeteria.
More voices.
The other group was already filling them in, but I decided I wanted to make my introductions, so I walked over to them.
Is dog the man or the woman? I guess I'll be dog then.
And you're fine with being called that?
You can call me anything you want. I honestly don't give a shit, just don't call me late to dinner.
That joke wasn't worth a chuckle.
Yep.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Why?
I guess you can call me Pig then. Oh, I don't like that very much at all. Would boar be preferable? Not really. Hey guys, nice to meet you too. Ah, Mouse. A pleasure to have you rejoin us. It's pretty nuts what's going on right now, isn't it? You're telling me I'm losing it right now? I mean, what even is happening? Why can't my life just be nice and simple? Simple and clean, that's all I ever wanted. But no, I have to be trapped in a scary school with these scary masks and this scary color. I hate it, it's so... Scary? Exactly.
Yep, this pretty much blows. I mean, if you're going to kill me, just get on with it. Don't make me wade through all that bullshit. Doing a race or whatever is such a pain.
Why go along with it? I said it once and I'll say it again. We have no obligation to do what this voice fuckers tells us to.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's not like there's been any difficulty in the instructions so far. Might as well go along with them. You know, why not, right?
That's your reasoning for obeying the commands?
Pretty much.
Seems awfully blasé of you.
Thank you. It's been like this the whole time. We haven't been kidnapped and put in a life or death situation.
Like we haven't been kidnapped.
This is a situation to freak out, but for some reason he's just been acting like this is chill, like this is all good or something. I mean, watching him not lose it has been making me lose it, you know?
Pig took a deep breath in, then let a deep breath out.
3, 2, okay, I'm fine. Sorry, I think I was a little much there. I tend to sometimes lose control of my emotions a little bit. I know it's annoying, I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. This is exactly the sort of situation where you should freak out.
No.
Though it would be preferable if you didn't.
Okay, I already got sort of my favorite characters right now. Snake, ox, dog. Horse is alright. The therapist is decent. I kind of like dragon too. Yeah, the rest... I mean, I don't really have anything against sheep so far.
After a bit more chatter, everyone gathered in the center of the room to discuss the situation.
Oh yeah, there's Roost as well. God. Well, I'll say it, folks. This right here is pretty not cool.
You know, I'm starting to suspect you might just be right. Agreed. It's been a while since someone else came, hasn't it? You think this is everyone? But probably. After all, this makes 12. What's that got to do with anything?
There's 12 zodiac signs. Come on, Tiger. I know you're not the smartest one here, but please.
Oh, good.
I love how the characters always have the same reactions as me.
Oh, come now. With everyone's nicknames, surely you should be able to figure it out. It's rather level 1 symbology. Level 1?
If you two are right about that being everyone, shouldn't we have heard something by now? I thought they said we'd get more information here.
See, this kidnapper's fucking with us. I say we just storm out of here. Look, judging from what I saw of the school's layout, the front entrance is probably right down that corridor when you turn right. What's stopping us from just getting the hell out of here?
The door will almost certainly be locked. What then?
Oh! I've been so confused this whole time. This is Ox, this is not us.
Ah! Well, that certainly was unclear to me until this point right now. I see. Huh. So that's why it got bigger every time Ox was speaking, because it is Ox. Oops.
Alright.
So I don't know what we actually look like then. I see.
I'll fucking smash it down, what do you think? And hey, we've got Horse and Tiger right there. They'd probably be even better at that than me. But you'd be ignoring what the Trade Emperor said. Did you hear what they said? They'll probably kill us. It's a suicide mission.
Well, the plan is my vote.
This isn't a voting situation. There's no need to rush at present. Surely we can afford to wait a bit longer, no? Patience is a virtue. You're getting unruly. However, as if on cue, the warped voice on the speakers began to speak once more.
It appears everyone has gathered at the starting line.